Hello everybody and welcome to Algebra 1 with Mr. Chavez. Now we're going to continue to learn factoring by grouping when b is the negative. Well, we have 4x squared minus 4x minus 3. Remember, first thing is greatest common factor. Is there anything that fits into 4, -4, and -3? No. From here, we could go ahead and identify our a, b, and c value. So a, b, and c. Well, a will be positive 4. So plus 4. B would be -4. And C would be -3. Now that we identified our A, B, and C, we're going to go ahead and set up our table. So A times C and B. Now we're going to continue with substitution. A is positive 4 times C is -3. Positive times a negative is a negative. 4 times 3 is 12. My B value is going to be -4. Now, let's go ahead and write our signs. Positive times positive, negative times a negative, and positive times a negative. I'm looking for two signs that multiply and give me a negative. Positive times a positive is a positive. Negative times a negative is a positive. And positive times a negative is a negative. So we're going to go ahead and use these. Now let's go ahead and factor 12. So we have 1 times 12, 2 times 6, 3 times 4, and that's it. Now one of them is going to be a positive and one of them is going to be a negative. Remember, for it to tell you which one's going to be positive and which is going to be negative, we look at our B value. So the B value says negative. So what that means is the greatest factor is negative. So we have positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative. Now let's go ahead and simplify it. Positive 1 minus 12 gives you -11. Positive 2 minus 6 gives you -4. Positive 3 minus 4 gives you -1. Since I'm looking for -4, my factors are going to be positive 2 and -6. Now, since a is not 1, what we're going to do is use these factors for the coefficients of x. So we have 4x squared. And remember, always start with the negative. Minus 6x plus 2x and minus 3. Now we're going to go ahead and group them. So we have 4x squared minus 6x in a group plus 2x minus 3 in another group. So let's go ahead and find out what we could pull out from each binomial. From the first binomial, 4x squared minus 6x, the first thing I noticed from the coefficients, I could pull out a 2. From the variables, I see I could also pull out x. So I'm left over with 4 divided by 2 gives you 2. X squared divided by x gives you x. -6 divided by 2 gives you -3. X divided by x gives you 1, so it stays like that. Plus 2x minus 3. Since I can't pull anything out, all we're going to do is put a 1 in front of it and keep it the same. Now, what's identical about this? You're correct. The binomials. So we have 2x minus 3. Now what we're going to write is what's being multiplied by the binomials. So we have a 2x and a plus 1. Now we learn how to factor trinomial by grouping when b is negative. Let's go ahead and try one more. All right. Now we have a trinomial of 8x squared minus 32x plus 14. And remember, before we get started, let's go ahead and pull out the greatest common factors. Well, from 8, -32, and 14, the greatest common factor is going to be 2. So if I pull out a 2, 8 divided by 2 gives you 4x squared Negative 32 divided by 2 gives you negative 16x, and 14 divided by 2 gives you a positive 7. Now that we pulled out the greatest common factor, what we're going to do is identify A, B, and C. So A is equal to, B is equal to, and C is equal to. A is equal to positive 4. B is equal to negative 16. And C is equal to positive 7. Now, we're going to go ahead and set up the table. So, A times C on the left and B on the right. A is positive 4. C is positive 7. Positive times a positive is a positive. 4 times 7 is 28. B is going to be negative 16. Let's go ahead and write our signs. So we have a positive times a positive, negative times a negative, and positive times a negative. Remember, we're looking for two signs that multiply and give me a positive. So we have positive times a positive is a positive, so that's good. Negative times a negative is a positive, we're good. Positive times a negative, that's not a positive, so that's wrong. Now, to identify which one of these will work, we're looking at a B value, and it says it has to add up to a negative. Well, positive plus a positive is a positive, so that's out. Negative plus a negative is a negative. Now let's go ahead and write the factors in ascending order. 1 times 28, 2 times 14, 4 times 7, and that's it. Now, this says both of them are going to be negative. Well, now what we're going to try to figure out is which one of these simplifies to negative 16. So we have negative 1 minus 28 gives you negative 29. Negative 2 minus 14 gives you negative 16. Negative 4 minus 7 gives you negative 11. We're looking for negative 16. So that tells me my factors are negative 2 and negative 14. Now let's go ahead and use the factors. So we have 4x squared. And remember, we're breaking up the b value into negative 2x minus 14x plus 7. Now let's go ahead and break it into groups. So we have 4x squared minus 2x in one group plus negative 14x plus 7 in another group. Well, what can I pull out from 4x squared minus 2x? First thing is, I can pull out a 2. I could also pull out a x. So I'm left over with 4 divided by 2 is 2. X squared divided by x is x. Negative 2 divided by 2 is negative 1. X divided by x is 1. So we're done with that. Second one, from negative 14x plus 7, what I could pull out from this is a negative 7. So negative divided by negative is a positive. 14 divided by 7 is 2, and I have x. Positive divided by a negative is a negative. 7 divided by 7 is 1. Now we have to figure out what is identical. The binomials. So we could say 2x minus 1. Now what we're going to do is, parentheses, write what are we multiplying the binomials by? 2x minus 7. Last thing we have to do is, if we pulled out greatest common factor, we always have to remember to bring it back down. So we pulled out 2, so we're going to go ahead and put it at the very bottom. Now you learn how to factor a trinomial by grouping. If you have any questions, please let me know.